Okay guys, hope you are doing well. I wanted to bring you a team that I've been playing around with sort of on and off over the last few weeks, and I've been having so much fun with it. This is primarily a Metagross team for Series 12. The whole idea with this play is Oranguru is setting up Trick Room very difficult to stop it from happening with the giant ape in play. Oranguru, because that is how you pronounce it, is going to then be procking Metagross with Brutal Swing. It's giving some nice support with Yawn, and we keep hold of the Instruct play as a possibility for Yveltal or Kyogre, but primarily it's about getting Gross into play. Once he is set up, once he is procced, then you got those brilliant Earthquake plays, Iron Heads, and of course Psycho Cut is something that can really dig you out of a deep hole. And of course, set up Psychic Terrain to stop any Praxter plays messing things up later on. There is a lot of flexibility in this team, and I sort of cherry-picked some of the stronger plays that we've seen from the recent international championships. So Clefairy alongside Charizard is giving us a nice fire counter if Groudon does want to come along. Kyogre, of course, is set up to be slow but potent in Trick Room, and I think we've seen a lot of good play for Life Orb Kyogre as well. I think that spread is working quite nicely. Yveltal, alongside Helping Hand Clefairy with the Black Glasses, is an incredibly potent threat as well. So there is a lot of coverage going on here, but like I say, mostly this is about setting Metagross up and letting it loose on the meta. I hope you enjoy. The code is there. Track record wise, this is been going pretty well. So if you want to have fun with it, please do. And I'll show you, I think, 3 battles that I've got recorded from earlier on today, start of the new season, and it went pretty well. Enjoy! Okay, so what have we got? We've got Riolo. Okay, oh, interesting. So we've got Trick Room options here as well. Zacian, the Groudon, and Incense. So that's not a bad matchup for Kyogre. Yeah, it's tricky. I'm sort of tempted to lead with Kyogre and put that pressure on. And have Oranguru in the back, then switch to Metagross. And then Yveltal. I mean, it's that thing that Yveltal could be quite a good switch. Like if they were to double up on the Oranguru, that's a possibility. Yveltal's a nice option if they want to just try to Blades their way through this. They may well be put off from bringing Groudon anyway because of the Charizard. You know, the Charizard gives that double bluff. But I'm kind of tempted to bring Yveltal and just try to get the strat up straight away and just try to move this straight into Trick Room and see if we can go from there, because that would be quite a cool option. At the same time, if they open with the classic Indeedee spread, which I haven't seen that for ages, that's like taking us back to like the very start of Sword and Shield. But we'll see what they come out with. We have Riolu, and okay. Now I should be slow. I have no speed investment, so cool. That's a good start, and we are slower. So we'll take that as a start. So there are a couple of options here, but I think we still ultimately want Trick Room. That's the way to go for this. I think. Do we think they're going to switch? They might switch out. In which case we get a free spout. I think we try the spout. Because he's there for... No, like the Kyogre is there for different purposes. So I think we're going to spout and go to Trick Room. Yeah, I figure they might just try to get out of it. And that should probably give us a free spout. Which would be a nice start. I'd be satisfied with that as a lead. And it protects. Okay. Who cares? That thing's dead and he wants to switch. That's fine because I'm going to yawn it. And I'm still slower. So, yep, you're gone. and that's fine. And so, like, Sun's going to come out. And I just suppose it could have a berry. It could have a berry. It could also copycat. I suppose copycat's a possibility, which would mess things up. So you know what? It's not the play that I want to make, but I mean that was fairly obvious. But what we can do here is just bring a Yveltal out. I think that's the play here. So Eveltal switches in, and we are going to yawn it. Now that Groudon can have all sorts of things, but let's work on the premise it doesn't have Lum. And then we can just sort of mess up their afternoon. But as a first turn, pretty happy with that. Can't complain. Again, it's not the strategy that I wanted to be running, but I think this is sensible because he could just go for coaching Blades. And I don't want to be switching in on that. You know, by preference. I want to do something else. He's going to max? Yeah, he's going to max. Okay, so that was always a strong possibility. And again, there's a strong possibility that it's going to come out with a Lumberry strat. Makes a lot of sense for what he's got here. He wants his free coachings off, so that would be the item to carry. If it was me, I'd be looking for that protection. But if it wants to come in with a max Quake on the Yveltal slot, okay, he's gone for that. That's fine. Not too bothered, unless he gets the knockout on Oranguru, but that's not likely. Ooh, called that well. Yeah, okay, so that's a problem. Definitely a problem. But we haven't had a coaching yet. So I suppose... Oh, what's the choice here? He almost certainly goes coaching. Oh, it's Life Orb. Okay, so it was the right call. Surprising. Definitely surprising. Now, I don't want to bring Metagross in. Not now. What I think we are going to do is... Oh, he's going to get the Quake off. But at the same time, I think we just do this. I think let's just do that. And yeah, I think we Trick Room again. I think we want to put that pressure on. He wants to go for coaching and Quake. The question is, what slot does he go into? Because if he does want to Quake the Oranguru slot, then we get a free big water boosted hit, and that might even be enough to take it out. So we'll see. We'll see. There are ways of making this work. Okay, so Kyogre beefs up. We've got the extra bulk coming in. Let's see what happens. What do they want to do? They want to go coaching. Okay, that's expected. What's a problem for me is if he Quakes into Oranguru. I would like him to Quake into the Kyogre slot. And that is absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine because I'm going to get Oranguru out of there. It's... Or not bother. Because that's happened now. Now, the question is how many turns of Trick Room? Because he wants to copycat, right? I'm going to be slower than anything that comes in. It's going to be Zacian. And Zacian wants to protect, right? Does protect go before instruct? That's the question here. Because he wouldn't need to protect then. What do we do? What do we do here? There's a lot of Trick Room. So I just don't know what moves first. Okay, so I'm going to guard. And let's bring Metagross in. Yeah, let's do that. Because Oranguru's got lots and lots of health left, and he's very, very bulky. So this could still cause problems. And if we're protecting first... Yeah, there's the protect. So if you did want to use Copycat, it ain't going to do nothing. Epic. I'm so pleased about that. So that's pretty cool. So now we've got lots and lots and lots of turns. Zacian wants to protect. Sure, I'm going to hit the Riolu for super effective damage. Okay. That's fine. You're going to protect as well. And that's sort of to be expected. We still have loads of Trick Room. And I can still Origin Pulse my way through this. Unless, of course... Oh yeah, it's still big damage, isn't it? No, I think we hold on there. It could have Bullet Punch, right? There's the possibility that this Riolu has Bullet Punch. Now, what have we got? Did we just take them out? 2 turns of Trick Room. Would it be enough to take out the Zacian? See, that I don't know. So I'm tempted on Origin Pulsing. And Psycho Cutting there. If it hits on the Zacian, it's enough to take it out. Okay. They're into sort of like double protect territory. Bullet Punch, does it do enough? No, of course not. Okay, so if Origin Pulse lands, that was even with a crit. So that's down to Sash. Okay. That's why I didn't want to Earthquake. Because Earthquake could have been real messy. Now, if this... Okay, let's game. That's hitting both. And that's game. Cool! Okay, so that worked quite well. I think we adapted to the Riolu play quite nicely. Answered the question because I wasn't totally sure what was going to happen first there. But ultimately, I'm pretty satisfied with that. It wasn't exactly what Metagross is there for, but it worked quite well. And you know, you're going to stick Groudon up against a Pokemon like that, you're going to be in trouble. Okay, so what have we got this time? We have Kyogre. Potential prankster nonsense. Rillaboom, that's a problem. Oh, they've got all the genies. They're all up there. And Grimmstyle. So that is far from ideal. So I think what we've seen before, if it comes out with that, that's the play that we want to start with. Okay, Metagross could get into problems, but from there, what do we think? What do we think? I mean, it's potentially good for Charizard, Thunder aside. The rest of the team is kind of vulnerable to Thunder, and there's so much flying. But chances are the Thundurus is physical. And so you got physical, physical, physical. Kyogre's a block to it, and of course Kyogre's carrying ice. So I think we're going to run with that. Very similar to the last game, which is fine. We might get a chance to do stuff with Metagross this time. It's a possibility. Seeing as this set of videos is primarily to illustrate the Metagross play, it would be nice to be able to do the Metagross play. But it hasn't really set it up for it that well for it so far. Okay. So that's fine. Now we should, because of the Friend Guard, unless it specs, possible, we're going to go Follow Me, and we'll just go straight for Trick Room. Okay. That's the play that makes most sense. And we will just see what happens here. Okay, Hurricane, that's not a problem. We survive that comfortably. That does almost nothing. And the confusion doesn't really matter either, because we sort of want Clefairy to die here. Here's the question. And my Metagross is kind of in the way. So maybe I stick my Metagross up here. You can go up there, my friend. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to bring in our Metagross. That's a better place for him. Over there. Floating high as if he carried an air balloon. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going to gamble, because we might end up with a flyer switching in. But I think this is just, you know, it's the play to make. This way we will get +1 on special, unless he switches out to a flyer. Oh, okay, well that could have been worse. That could have been worse. Because we know Kyogre's in the back, and now we're going to be +1 on defense. I mean, this might even one-shot. It's possible. And it seems unlikely that you're not going to have the Zacian out there as well. So the potential for this is working quite well. Oh well, that doesn't matter because we have the mental herb, but we weren't going to do it anyway because we're doing this. I guess he thought he might have been going for Yawn. It's a possibility. But there we go. Now we are +2 on everything, and we're about to go +1 on special, which is useful. Will this take it out? That's the question. And it does. Cool. So that set of plays worked out quite nicely, and now Metagross is +1. Oranguru is +1 as well. So if we do get hit with a hurricane, we're fine. And what we can actually do now is, I think we switch out the Oranguru and just try and get those boosts on our next partner. There we go. So the question here... Ooh, what we could do is that. What do we want to do? What do we want to do? What's more useful at this point? I think... This is a tricky choice, actually. I think we're going to do this. Because that will... I don't know. Yeah, I think so. And I think we'll take... We'll bring Kyogre in. Okay. There's a possibility of shutting down the prankster stuff here. By changing terrain. But I think I prefer the boosts. And the same thing for Kyogre. So it could just max guard here. But they might be targeting that Oranguru slot anyway. Now it's unlikely that they go for Thunder, which will obviously be very bad. But if they do, it's not the end of the world. No, so then there's no Protect, so we get a second boost, and it's a defense boost. Oh, that's nice damage. That is very nice damage. That's putting that Kyogre right in range. And now we're +2 on defense, as is my own Kyogre. And my Kyogre is going to be slower. Who's he coming on hitting? Is he coming on Metagross? That's fine. That's fine. The question here is whether we get hit by Hurricane and get confused, which would be super annoying. And no, we don't. Okay, so that's all pretty nice. So he may well max guard here, but otherwise we are going to be slower. We should be slower than the Tornadus, because we are set up. Ah, there we go. I think they did the maths. I'm guessing that Kyogre didn't have anything to protect itself, so it was game over from that point. So cool. I think happy with that. Pretty satisfied. Good evidence of Metagross doing its job. Okay, what have we got here? Third battle and an interesting spread. We have got Kyogre, Zacian again, Landorus. Landorus is obviously intimidating for me. Regieleki, Grimmsnarl, and Incineroar. Okay, so I think what we're going to do here, they've only got the one flyer. So as long as we're keeping an eye on that, I think once again we go for the sacrificial lead. Clef and Oranguru. Metagross wants to come in, and you know, if Kyogre's coming in under Trick Room, and I don't really see many ways that they can shut down the Trick Room here, I think that is the play. So Charizard and Yveltal get left at home again, keeping that bench warm just in case. But I think this is the sensible play. Not much they can do in terms of changing terrain either. If they wanted to taunt Oranguru, we've got that covered. And if Metagross can get in and get procced, then there's big problems. Now, this is... Okay, so we've seen this play, and this is potentially problematic. Okay, so if that Lecky maxes, goes for a max darkness, and if that Ogre is spec'd, then we just lose turn 1. I'm not sure there's much that we can do to change that. If it's not, then we're well set. There's a possibility... Oh, no, he doesn't. Okay. So he might go for a spread, which again Okay. So that should definitely keep us alive. Okay. Not much of a problem there. The one slight issue, his Spout's coming in. Okay. I suppose what we could do... Okay, that's fine. That worked out totally fine. So Trick Room comes up. They haven't got too much they can do to shut this down. The question is the Landorus. Okay. So this is a gamble at this point. And they could max the Ogre, which would not be ideal. But I think we just have to take the play. And worst case scenario is that we're then procced and we go in to hit it with max steel. So I think we just do this. They know I've got a Kyogre, so they might not have brought their own Landorus. So this could work. The disaster play in here is that Landorus switches in on the Ogre spot. So long as that doesn't happen, we're in a fairly tidy situation here. We're fairly tidy so long as that doesn't happen. They're thinking, they're pondering. Okay, so no switch. And the question is here, are they going to max the Ogre? If they do, that is okay. I'm not totally bothered. We might lose a Rangaroo. He might go. But not before he does his job. So let's see. Okay, so we've got maxing. Who's going big? That's okay. I'm not as concerned by that as might be for something else. So we'll see how it goes. We will be putting big damage in, and we're going to be getting special boosts. Oh, that's actually fine as well. Because if they target the Metagross, then we can start putting a different type of pressure on. So now we're procced, and we're going to be slamming with big hits into the Ogre. Quake in. I think we called it on the right side. Now, it's not doing huge damage. So in that last battle, it just wiped out the Ogre. Went under 50%. It's a different spread. Geyser comes in, but who's he going to come after? Against a Rangaroo. Okay. Now, obviously perhaps not the ideal. But I'm reasonably content. I'm reasonably content here. Obviously, I've lost control, but I am going to be hitting hard here. Water Spout will take out the Lecky. Lecky can't safeguard again. Ogre's definitely not switching in. I lost track how many turns of Trick Room we've got left. It's probably about, after this, there's at least one more. So we get this boost coming in. My Ogre is almost certainly going to move first, and we might take them both out this turn. They might take them both out. We should be moving first here. There's the Spout. That's very sweet. That is very, very sweet. They're both down. They are both out, and we are still in Trick Room with one more turn of max to play. So that gives us some nice options. We can either go for a defense boost or more special, depending on what's coming out here. That worked out about perfectly. Very, very happy with that. So let's see what they've got left. They are definitely in a tight spot here. There it is. We knew it was going to be... there's always a chance. Had they brought that out before, we could be looking at a very different game here. So we're just going to check how many turns of Trick Room we got left. Because one slot is definitely protecting. The second slot might protect as well. If we've got 2 turns... we got 2 turns. We are golden. Okay, so... what do we want to do here? Max Quake is obviously going to cause problems, but I think we'll go Steel. It won't cause as much damage, but I want that defense boost. I really want that defense boost coming in. They might just quit here, because it's going to be very difficult for them to survive. There we go. Yeah, okay. And there we go. I think that's a pretty good demonstration of how this team works. maxing Metagross alongside Oranguru is causing all sorts of havoc. So that's pretty cool. Happy with that. So if you like it, give it a roll. It's a lot of fun. No, I don't think we need to do that. I think we're fairly content. It was that thing. If they had switched Landorus in, if they'd made the big call and taken him out, taken that gamble, we would have wasted a turn. But I think the gamble was worth it. Because they may well not have been expecting that. With Oranguru, there's Yawn, there's Instruct plays. That's the sort of thing you're expecting. You're not necessarily expecting that that brutal swing. And for it to land as well as it did, I'm pretty happy. So we'll take that. 3 for 3. Pretty good going. Happy days.